Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's presentation. I'm Dr. S.K. Singh, holding a PhD, and I'm pleased to be here with you. Today, we will be discussing the qualification of the disintegration test apparatus. This is a key topic in ensuring the reliability of pharmaceutical testing. Over the course of this presentation, we'll cover the essential aspects of the apparatus qualification process, including the standards and procedures involved. I look forward to sharing this information with you and engaging in a productive discussion. Let's get started. Let's talk about the objective of disintegration testing. The main purpose here is to measure how long it takes for a tablet or capsule to break down into smaller particles when placed in conditions that mimic the gastrointestinal environment. This is crucial because it helps us understand how quickly the medication will become available for absorption once ingested. Essentially, it ensures that the dosage form is of good quality, consistent, and that the active pharmaceutical ingredients are ready to dissolve and be absorbed by the body without delay. Now, to perform this test, we use specific apparatus components. The key parts include a basket track assembly that holds 6 tubes, each with a disc to support the dosage forms. We also have a water bath maintained precisely at 37 degrees Celsius, give or take 2 degrees, to replicate body temperature. The basket moves up and down approximately 55 millimeters at a rate of 30 strokes per minute, creating a dynamic environment similar to the movement in the GI tract. The principle behind this test is fairly straightforward. We immerse the tablets or capsules in a fluid medium, usually water or a simulated gastric fluid, and observe the time it takes until all particles pass through a sieve mesh. That moment marks the disintegration time, which is a critical parameter in assessing the performance of the dosage form. By understanding this process, we can ensure that the medication will disintegrate properly and release the active ingredients effectively once administered. Let's take a closer look at the current regulatory standards for disintegration testing. First, we have the USP 701, which provides a harmonized text for both tablets and capsules. This means there's a unified approach across many regions, making it easier for manufacturers to comply and ensure quality. Alongside that, the pH. UR 291 also covers disintegration of tablets and capsules and is harmonized with the USB, further promoting consistency internationally. Additionally, the ICHQ 4B Annex 5 supports the harmonization of disintegration test chapters across different regions, encouraging a more standardized global framework. It's important to note that while these standards set the general guidelines, the specific acceptance criteria, like the disintegration times, are usually defined in individual product monographs and in the USP or pH. UR texts. Overall, there's a broad consensus worldwide on the core conditions for disintegration testing, which helps streamline regulatory processes and ensures quality across different markets. This harmonization is a key step toward consistent, reliable pharmaceutical testing globally. Now, let's take a closer look at the acceptance criteria for the disintegration test. First, under the general USB criteria, all 6 units tested must disintegrate within the specified time for the dosage form. If 1 or 2 units don't meet this requirement, the protocol is to test an additional 12 units. To pass, at least 16 out of these 18 units must disintegrate within the specified time. This ensures consistency and reliability in the product's performance. When we talk about typical limits, for immediate-release tablets, the disintegration time is usually set at 30 minutes or less, as specified in the monograph. For coated tablets, the limit is generally 60 minutes, unless the monograph states otherwise. These limits are designed to ensure the product releases the active ingredient promptly. Now, the regulatory rationale behind these criteria is quite important. The results from the disintegration apparatus directly influence whether a batch is released or not. They serve as a critical quality control measure because they impact the product's bioavailability and effectiveness. Additionally, qualification of the disintegration equipment involves IQ, OQ, and PQ. So, installation, operational, and performance qualification to make sure the instrument functions accurately. This is vital because reliable data depends on properly functioning equipment. Finally, regulatory agencies, especially under good manufacturing practice standards, expect documented evidence that all equipment impacting quality has been properly qualified. This helps ensure that every batch produced meets the required quality and safety standards. So, understanding and adhering to these criteria is essential for both compliance and delivering a trustworthy product. Now, let's take a closer look at the qualification overview, which includes DQ, IQ, OQ, and PQ. These are essential steps in ensuring that our equipment is properly validated and fit for purpose. Starting with design qualification, or DQ. This is where we confirm that the equipment we've selected actually meets all the necessary test requirements. It's about making sure the design aligns with our needs before moving forward. Next, we have installation qualification, or IQ. Here, we verify that the equipment is installed correctly, following the manufacturer's specifications. This step is crucial because proper installation sets the foundation for all subsequent validation activities. Then comes operational qualification, or OQ. At this stage, we verify that the equipment operates correctly under specified conditions, even without using actual samples. This ensures that the operational functions perform as intended. Finally, performance qualification, or PQ. This is when we test the equipment under real-world conditions, using actual samples to verify it performs consistently and reliably in its intended environment. Together, these phases provide documented assurance that the equipment is fit for purpose, which is vital in maintaining quality and compliance throughout the manufacturing process. All these steps form a life cycle that helps us manage quality systematically, aligning with GMP and USB concepts, and ultimately supporting our goal of delivering safe, effective products. Now, let's talk about design qualification, or DQ, which is a crucial step in our process. The main objective here is to make sure that the apparatus we select is designed properly to support the regulatory compendial tests, like those outlined by the USB and the pH. These standards are essential for ensuring our equipment meets quality and safety requirements. Another key point is the inclusion of the User Requirements Specification, or URS. This document clearly defines what we need from the equipment, such as the basket size, temperature range, stroke frequency, timer, and overall compliance. Essentially, it helps us communicate our needs precisely to the vendor. Moving on to the deliverables, we expect to have the URS itself, which guides the entire qualification process. Additionally, we require vendor product data and compliance certificates. These documents verify that the equipment meets the specified standards and is suitable for our intended use. Overall, this step ensures that from the beginning, the equipment design aligns with both regulatory requirements and our specific operational needs, setting a strong foundation for the subsequent qualification phases. Let's talk about the installation qualification, or IQ, which is a crucial first step in ensuring our equipment is properly set up. First, we need to confirm that the equipment has been delivered in good condition, meaning there are no visible damages or issues from transportation. Next, the equipment should be installed on a stable bench to prevent any movement during operation, which is vital for accuracy and safety. We also need to verify that all utilities are connected correctly, such as power and water baths, to ensure the equipment can operate as intended. It's equally important to have all manuals and calibration certificates readily available, as they provide essential information for proper use and maintenance. One key aspect is installing and verifying the temperature sensor, especially if precise temperature control is part of our process. This step ensures the sensor is functioning correctly and providing accurate readings. All of these points are documented in an IQ protocol and checklist, which must be signed off by QC or QA teams. This documentation is vital because it provides traceability and confirms that everything has been checked thoroughly before moving on to the next phase. Overall, the IQ lays the foundation for reliable and compliant operation, tying directly into our overall quality assurance goals. Now, let's take a closer look at operational qualification, or OQ. This is a critical step where we verify that our equipment operates according to predefined specifications. For example, one of the tests involves validating the bath temperature control to ensure it stays within 37 degrees Celsius, plus or minus 2 degrees. This helps us confirm that the temperature regulation is precise enough for our processes. Another important test is checking the stroke frequency, which should be around 30 strokes per minute, with a tolerance of plus or minus 1. Ensuring this consistency is vital for reliable operation. We also need to verify the timer accuracy over the expected duration of the test, so we can trust the timing during actual use. When it comes to acceptance criteria, we look for the bath temperature to stay within a range, say between 35 and 39 degrees Celsius, accounting for acceptable tolerance. Similarly, the basket's stroke frequency should remain within the defined limits. These benchmarks help us confirm that the equipment performs reliably and meets our quality standards. Overall, these tests and criteria are essential for ensuring our equipment functions correctly before moving on to the next phase. Now, let's look at the objective of the performance qualification, or PQ, which is to demonstrate how the test performs on actual tablet or capsule samples. In this example, we're focusing on disintegration testing for immediate release tablets. So here we have some sample data with disintegration times in minutes: 28, 29, 30, 27, 29, and 28. The key point here is that all 6 units disintegrated within 30 minutes, which is our specified limit. Since every sample meets this criterion, we can say that the test has passed for this batch. But what happens if 1 or 2 units fail? Well, in that case, the protocol requires retesting 12 additional units, and we need at least 16 out of 18 to pass to consider the test successful. This helps ensure consistency and reliability in our testing process. Now, let's briefly go over the typical steps involved in PQ. First, we use 6 tablets or capsules per run, as defined by the method. Then, we record the disintegration time for each unit. It's important to document whether each unit meets the acceptance criteria specified in the compendial standards. And finally, to confirm reproducibility, this process should be repeated for at least 3 runs or 3 different batches, all under routine, controlled conditions. This comprehensive approach ensures our test method is robust and reliable across different samples and times. When it comes to documentation requirements, there are several key documents that we need to prepare to ensure everything is properly recorded and compliant. First, we have IQ, OQ, and PQ protocols and reports. These are essential for verifying that equipment is installed correctly, operates as intended, and performs consistently during routine operation. Next, calibration certificates are crucial for items like thermometers and timers, as they confirm that our measurements are accurate and reliable. We also need standard operating procedures, or SOPs, specifically for the disintegration test operation. These SOPs provide clear instructions to ensure consistency and quality in how the test is performed. Training records for analysts are equally important. They demonstrate that personnel are properly trained and qualified to carry out these procedures. Finally, deviation logs and CAPA, or corrective and preventive actions, are vital for documenting any issues that arise and how we address them. This comprehensive documentation not only ensures compliance, but also supports continuous improvement. Remember, thorough and accurate records are the backbone of a reliable quality system, tying all these points together within the overall framework of good manufacturing practices. Let's take a look at some common audit findings and best practices to keep in mind. One typical issue we see during inspections is missing calibration records. This can raise questions about whether instruments are properly maintained and reliable. Another common problem is the absence of defined acceptance criteria, which makes it hard to determine if test results are acceptable or not. Additionally, Inadequate execution of operational qualification and performance qualification can compromise the validity of validation efforts. Now, on the flip side, there are several best practices to address these issues. First, always use traceable instruments for calibration. This ensures you can verify instrument performance over time. Second, it's crucial to record raw data meticulously, including timestamps and analyst initials, to maintain a clear audit trail. Finally, updating your standard operating procedures with proper revision control keeps your documentation current and helps prevent outdated practices from creeping in. Connecting all of this to our overall theme, maintaining thorough records, clear criteria, and robust procedures not only helps pass audits, but also ensures the integrity and reliability of our processes. These best practices support a culture of quality and compliance across our operations. Let's wrap up with some key takeaways. First, it's essential that the disintegration test apparatus undergoes proper qualification to meet regulatory standards and ensure the quality of the product. This means following a structured qualification lifecycle, starting from design qualification, then installation qualification, operational qualification, and performance qualification. Each step plays a crucial role in confirming that the equipment performs as intended. Next, clear documentation is vital. Acceptance criteria, test procedures, and results should all be thoroughly documented to maintain transparency and compliance. And when applying compendial requirements, like USB 701 and pH, UR 291, it's important to justify any deviations or risk-based decisions you make. Overall, integrating these practices ensures that our disintegration testing remains reliable, compliant, and aligned with quality standards. This comprehensive approach ultimately supports our goal of delivering safe and effective products. For further support, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We're here to help with any questions or additional information you might need. Thank you so much for your time and attention today. I truly appreciate your engagement and look forward to staying connected.